testimony given this matter is followed. Is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Goes up and down, arms come down, lights on, mics on. You gotta be kind of close to the center.
Good morning, Mr. Utton.
Good morning.
Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Terry Utton. Last name is spelled U-T-T-O-N. It's just like Button, but there's no B.
Okay.
Makes it easy to remember.
And how do you spell Terry?
T-R-R-Y.
Okay. And I'm going to have you move that microphone a little closer to you, just so that we make sure everyone can hear you. It's movable. You can pull it to you.
Nervous.
It's all right. Mr. Utton, what do you do for a living?
Right now, I'm retired.
What did you do before you retired?
I worked in mainly the oil refineries, and I was also a firefighter.
Okay. How long were you a firefighter?
At least 10 years.
Where were you a firefighter?
Over in Galveston County in San Leon.
And did you grow up in the county, or where are you from?
No, ma'am. I've lived all over the United States. Being an oil refinery worker, I used to move with the jobs and everything, but I had bought property over in San Leon, and I built a house and raised my family and my kids.
And when was it that you built that house in San Leon?
In 2003.
2003. And at any point in your life, did you meet somebody named Tammy King?
Yes, ma'am, I certainly did.
When did you meet Miss King?
Very close to back in 1980.
So over 40 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How did you meet Tammy?
I was married to Tammy's husband's sister.
Okay. And so let's use names just so we kind of track everybody. What was your wife's name?
My wife's name was Sandra Faye.
Okay. And did Sandra have a brother?
Yes, ma'am.
What was Sandra's brother's name?
Was J.C. King. We called him Butch.
Okay. And who was Butch married to?
Butch was married to Tammy.
Okay. So is it fair to say that you and Tammy met when y'all were both married to y'all's first spouses?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you first met Tammy, tell me what she was like.
Loving, fun, caring, helped everybody. You know, this is sweet as could be. You know, she was just a great person.
And who was Tammy's immediate family?
You're talking like for her sisters and brothers, or?
I can ask it a little better. Did Tammy and Butch have any kids?
Yes, ma'am. They had Christopher.
Okay. And was Christopher their only child?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did Christopher have any kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did any of those kids ever live with Tammy?
Yes, ma'am.
Which children or child was that?
Would have been Tara.
Okay. And so does that mean Tara was Tammy's granddaughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know how long Tara lived with Tammy?
Not exactly in years, but she was very small.
Is it fair to say most of Tara's life?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you know Tara for her whole life?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And tell me about Tara what was Tara's personality like before we got to the incidents of this year?
She was sweet too, you know. She would always, run up and hug you and talk to you, and She was like an everyday child, you know, everyday teenager, and she was growing up.
And how was Tammy and Tara's relationship before we got to the events of this year?
Well, it's very good. I mean, you know, they had their little spouts, you know, but all mom and, well, I say moms, you know, but all family does, you know, especially whenever the youngin doesn't want to, you know, and adult figure says, no, you have to, and then say no. So it was great.
Is it fair to say that Tammy took on kind of a parent role in Tara's life?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did Tara live with Tammy full time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At some point, or I guess, what eventually happened with you and your wife, Sandy?
After almost 45 years, she took and passed away. So our plans kind of changed.
What year was it that Sandy passed away?
March 11, 2021.
Yes, sir. And once Sandy passed away, did you still stay close with Tammy and Butch?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And did anything happen to Butch?
Yes, Butch got sick and he passed away too.
When did Butch pass away?
It would have been a year and a half. I'm not exactly sure.
From now?
Yes.
So about summerish of 24, does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after both Sandy and Butch have passed away, do you and Tammy remain close?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And does the relationship between you and Tammy ever change?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Tell me about that. What happened with you and Tammy's relationship?
We ended up getting a whole lot closer. From friends, we became to where we was involved, you know, with each other. We both loved each other.
So is it fair to say that y'all's relationship kind of went from friends and then became romantic?
Yes.
Okay. And so when was it that you and Tammy started becoming involved in a romantic relationship?
First part of this year, a little bit, maybe. I mean, nothing, yeah.
Okay.
Around the first part of this year.
Okay, so y'all had only been together for a couple months before Tammy passed?
Probably close to 5, 6 months, probably.
Okay, so end part of 24, does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay. And during your relationship with Tammy, was she still kind of the same sweet lady you described to us earlier, or what was Tammy's personality like those last 6 months before she passed?
She was still sweet, unloving, giving, caring.
And what was Tara like during this time?
She was still sweet like she was, you know. And later on, you know, being a teenager, there would be a little bit of arguments going on, but they always did that, you know. But it did get a little bit worse sometimes.
When you say it got a little bit worse, what do you mean?
Well, I started missing school a lot more, and Tammy was arguing, you know, would be telling her, you know, you can't do that, you know. And then she would say, well, you know.
Make sure you don't tell me what Tara or Tammy said, okay? So it sounds like they were arguing about going to school?
Yes, that was one of the things, yes.
Okay. Was there another thing that they argued about?
I just went blank.
I can ask the question a different way. Was there a time that somebody new came into Tara's life?
Yes, okay.
Who would that person have been?
That would have been Uriah. I know him as Percy is what I know him by.
Okay, so you know that his real name is Uriah, but you
Yes.
called him Percy.
Right.
Do you see who you know as Percy in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Could you please tell me where he is seated and an item of clothing he's wearing?
He's sitting over there next to that gentleman there, and he has like on a light blue color shirt. Got a nice haircut, too.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that this witness has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
And when was it that you first met Percy?
It would have been about the same time that me and Tammy, started seeing each other.
So about 5 to 6 months before Tammy passed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was your first thoughts about Percy?
I thought he was a good kid. I liked him, I don't know what all I can say. I know that he was having a rough time too.
Okay. Was he always polite to you?
Yes, I'd say so.
Okay. Did you and Percy ever have issues?
No, just at one time, the voice got a little bit loud, and I said, no, it's not going to happen, around here, so.
And when you say that voice got a little bit loud, do you mean Percy's voice got a little bit loud?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who was he talking to when his voice got loud?
He was talking with Tammy, but I think him and Tara had been arguing. I'm not sure on that.
Okay. And you told him, we're not going to do that.
Right.
As you and Tammy's relationship went on, did you notice any changes in Tara's behavior or Percy's behavior?
No, I didn't, not to be honest. I did not notice nothing. I didn't have the idea that anything was going to happen or come.
Everything just kind of seemed how it was?
Yeah, everything seemed how it was.
And I want to talk a little bit about Tammy and Tara's relationship during these last 6 months. Did Tammy raise her voice to Tara? In front of you, that you saw?
No, not really. Just, if she really was trying to get something done, she would, say it louder and stuff. I never heard her screaming or nothing like that.
Okay. At any point, did you ever witness Tammy become physical with Tara?
No.
And so, did you ever see Tammy grab Tara or hit Tara or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And does that go for the entire time that you've known Tammy and Tara?
Yeah, I've never seen her grab her or nothing.
Okay. And have you ever seen Tammy get aggressive with anybody?
No, ma'am, not really, no.
And then I kind of want to go a little bit about how things that happened between you and Tammy's relationship. Did you and Tammy ever partake in any sort of drugs?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
What drugs was that?
Marijuana.
Okay. So sometimes did you smoke marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did y'all ever indulge in any other types of drugs? Like,
No, ma'am.
okay. So the only illegal drug that y'all would engage in would be marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I don't mean to be personal, but with you and Tammy's romantic relationship, was there ever a time that y'all included other people in y'all's romantic relationship?
No, ma'am.
So if any assertions were made that y'all involved other people in y'all's romantic relationships, would that be true or false?
That would be false.
Okay.
That's something that was personal between me and her,
Okay. So, leading up to Tammy's passing, what, kind of that week before, how was everybody in the house? How was Tammy acting?
It was kind of a little tense because, like I said, she started missing a lot of school.
She being?
Tara
Okay.
was missing a lot of school, and Tammy had, had kept on her, you can't do this, you got.
Make sure you don't tell me what Tammy says, okay?
Okay.
So it got a little tense because Tara started missing more school.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how often was Percy around, or what was Percy doing during this time?
Oh, Percy, he was always right there, and then he had a time where he had to go home.
Okay.
He had like a curfew where he would have to leave the house.
What time, do you recall what time that was?
10 o'clock.
And was that when Percy's family wanted him home, or Tammy said he had to leave?
No, that's when Tammy said.
Okay. And did Percy always go home?
As far as I know, yes. Sometimes I'd take it, tell her, they're young kids, give them another hour, and she's okay,
Did there ever come a time that you suspected he wasn't going home?
There was times I could hear things in the other room and stuff, but I never got up and went and looked to see what was going on, so.
Why didn't you ever get up to go look?
Well, mainly because, we kind of had an understanding if I was there, like, after everybody had gone to bed, I didn't want to walk out and catch Tara going to the restroom or anything like that. I'd open up the door and before I'd even come out, I'd holler, hey, I'm fixing to come out, I'm going home, and so it would just be like a bump on the wall or something, if it would have been screams or something, it would have been totally different. I'd have been breaking down the door,
Yes, sir. So you heard some noises, but you never checked, it sounds like, to give Tara some privacy?
Correct.
Okay. And when was the last day that you were over at Tammy's home?
Probably the night, I want to say the night before. I was sitting on the front porch and they had received Taco Bell. Tara came out and picked it up while me and Tammy was sitting on the porch. And Uriah was inside and Tara took the food back in and they were eating in there.
And does Tuesday the 4th sound about right?
Yes.
And how was Tammy that night?
Cutting up, laughing, having a good time.
And how were Tara and Uriah that night? Did they seem normal?
I just mainly seen Tara. Like I said, Uriah was inside, so I didn't see him that night before I left.
Okay, but you knew he was there?
Yes.
It's probably a good place to stop. Let's be back here at 1 o'clock for lunch. If an hour is not enough time, let Deputy Flynn know, and we can give you some additional time, but otherwise we'll see you back at 1.
All rise for the church.
The clerk and all the parties are present. We have a witness on the witness stand, so you are still under oath. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Utton, where we left off before lunch was that Tuesday where you said that Tara and Uriah had ordered some Taco Bell, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And about how long were you and Tammy sitting on the front porch that night?
Oh, these are a good hour and a half.
1 second, just making sure that clips off.
Okay.
computer charger. All right. And after you left, or when you left, where was everybody, to your knowledge?
Tara and Uriah was inside still, and Tammy was on the front porch fixing to head in.
Okay. And where did you go?
I went back to my house then, because I had run to the store and picked up some groceries, but nothing was needed to be in the refrigerator, so I had time to sit out there and talk for a while.
And once you got home, did you and Tammy talk at all that night?
Just for a little bit, we text back and forth.
And on a typical day, how much do you and Tammy normally have?
We text quite a bit.
And is that every day kind of?
Yes, ma'am.
So, when you were texting with Tammy Tuesday night, how did everything seem?
Everything was okay. She took and told me that, had texted me that Tara still had clothes in the washing machine and hadn't gotten ready for school, so.
So was it more, kind of just more normal conversation?
Yes, ma'am, just a normal conversation.
And in the mornings, how do you and Tammy normally start a conversation? Who texts first, or how does that go?
Whichever one of us woke up first in the morning, we'd always text and say, "Good morning, how you doing?" So.
And did you text with Tammy Wednesday morning?
I'm not sure exactly. Wednesday morning, that would be, yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Okay. And at that point, Wednesday morning, did you have any idea if anything was wrong at that point?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You already approached the witness?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Eckman, I'm showing you what's been marked. That states 493. Without telling me what it is, will you let me know if you recognize this?
Yes.
Is this a true and accurate depiction of what it's depicting?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, state's going to move to admit states 493. Having to go to opposing.
I already have a 493. Attached with the search warrants.
No, remember we went back and fixed all of those numbers. That was when I had my numbers.
So there's a note 493.
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay, very good then. Any objection to 493? Okay, 493 will be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. And may I follow?
Yes.
Mr. Utton,
Yes, ma'am.
who is that?
That's Tammy.
And is that what Tammy looked like at the time of her passing?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you keep all the messages between you and Tammy?
Yes, ma'am.
And at some point, did you turn those over to the police?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness again?
Yes.
Mr. Utton, I'm approaching you with what's been marked as states 64 through 72. Without telling me what they are, do you recognize what's contained in these documents?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize them?
That's me and her texting back and forth.
So these came, or is this what you gave to the police?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the state's going to move to admit states 64 through 72, having tendered to opposing counsel.
Objection.
64 to 72 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I publish?
Yes.
All right. I'm actually going to start and go backwards, Mr. Utton. So I'm going to start with state 65, just so you can tell me what date and time that says there at the bottom.
Tuesday at 9:33 p.m.
Okay. And so the messages before that, would that have also been on Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to go backwards and go to our first set. So were these also Tuesday evening?
Yes, ma'am, that's the night that I left.
Okay. And we see here in these messages that y'all are both using kind of some emojis and stuff, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that normal for how y'all talked?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is Tuesday in state 64 and 65. And can you tell us, what are y'all talking about?
We were talking about the Taco Bell that had been delivered.
And we see it continues in state 66 and 67. Can you tell us what that timestamp is on this last message?
Tuesday at 11:16 p.m.
And is this Tammy just telling you good night?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell me what that time and date stamp is on this, the middle of this message?
Wednesday at 9:26 in the morning.
Okay. And is that the normal time that Tammy wakes up, or earlier or later?
No, she would wake up earlier sometimes she'd sleep a little bit later. Just depending on how late that me and her had stayed up texting.
Okay. So she didn't have a set wake up time, is that fair?
No, ma'am, pretty well. No, not really.
Okay. And so, at 9:26 this morning, what are y'all talking about?
I believe that's whenever they were arguing about maybe going to school, and I said something about coming over and spanking both of them.
Okay. And what's kind of the last message that you get from Tammy that morning?
That everything was okay.
Can you read that last message for me?
The last one,
Yes, sir. The last one's from Tammy.
it says I'm laying in bed, Tara won't get her clothes finished.
So, at about 9:30 Wednesday morning, you know that Tammy's laying in bed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, was there anything unusual about you and Tammy's communications on that Wednesday?
No, ma'am. Just that, she was talking about getting her clothes done and everything. Everything was pretty well normal that I knew.
Okay. Did y'all talk as much as y'all normally do on Wednesday? If I show you state 70, does that refresh your memory?
Oh, yes, ma'am, because she hadn't texted back.
And
She
was
was
that,
talking about sleeping late, yes.
so is that unusual for Tammy to not text you back?
Yes, ma'am.
And so can you read us that timestamp at the top of this state 70?
That was Wednesday at 6:16 p.m.
Okay. And compared to those earlier messages that we saw, is Tammy's messages being as filled with emojis or loving commentary as they were earlier?
No, ma'am. I mean, they're pretty well normal, but, I mean, it wasn't, I would say, yeah, it's pretty well normal, but we just didn't put in emojis and stuff, because I guess she was a little upset.
Okay. So that's how you took it, was she was just upset?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is state 71. Y'all are kind of continuing to talk that Wednesday night, correct?
Yes, ma'am. home, it was really foggy.
Yes, sir. And then it states 72, which is a continuation of that last picture. Does Tammy ever answer you again?
No, ma'am.
And what is that timestamp in the middle before well, good night?
Thursday at 8:58.
The one right above.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Wednesday at 10:38 p.m.
Was it normal for Tammy to just never reply like this?
No, ma'am.
Was it normal for her to not tell you good night?
No, ma'am.
And then we don't see any messages until you said 8:58 p.m. on Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So did you hear from Tammy at all on Thursday?
No, ma'am.
So we noticed that the messages are a different color at the bottom of state 72 than they are at the top. Why is that? Can you explain that to the jury?
The only thing I can figure out is it was not delivered or her phone was off or something. I don't know why they're different.
Okay. So they're not going through correctly?
I don't believe so, ma'am.
And can you read those last two messages you sent Tammy to me?
I asked her, did I do something wrong? I said, for some reason it's not going through. So I switched to this. And then I was teasing, I said, did you block me? That might be the reason why they changed, I don't know. On the color.
And did you ever get an answer from Tammy to those messages?
No, ma'am.
So these messages got us up to about 9 o'clock on Thursday night, which would have been February 6th, 2025. What is going through your head at that point?
I did not, that something was wrong.
And when you started being concerned that something was wrong, what did you do?
I went over to the house and the vehicle was still there in the driveway. I went around, I knocked on the door first, and still no answer. Tammy didn't answer the door and Terry did not answer the door. Then I started getting really worried and I went around and I knocked on the windows, I knocked on her bedroom door, it's a sliding glass door. I knocked on it. Well, really, I didn't knock on it. I kind of beat it on it. And I went and did the same thing in Tara's room. And then there was no answer. And I went back out. I walked across the street. I knocked on the neighbor's door. They was already in bed and did not see me or hear me. And I think the daughter heard me. But I had already went back across the street. I beat on the door again, on the windows, and then I called, I don't know if I called Christopher first or if I called the Galveston County and told them I needed them here because I was fixing to break into this house because I knew something was wrong.
Okay. And just so we all are still following around, Christopher is Tammy's son, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is Tara's dad, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And why was it that you called Christopher that night?
Well, I mean, he needed to know something was going on too. This is his mom and his daughter, so.
And when you called Galveston County Sheriff's Office, why was it that you were calling them?
Because I wanted them there because I was fixing to break into the house, and I did not want them to come rolling up and all of a sudden I'm getting thrown down and arrested, for breaking and entering, but I was concerned,
So is it fair to say you were just informing the Sheriff's Office that you were about to break in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And after you called the Sheriff's Office, did they arrive?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
Okay. Once they arrived, can you walk us through kind of what did you do? What parts of the house did you go to?
We took him, they was walking around, they were shining the lights in the windows, and then they turned around and looked at me and they said, well, they're moving. I said, no, they're not moving. I was just here, they're not moving. direction I look. And when I looked in, I seen stuff that was thrown up against the master bath because the bathroom door was open. There was a little foam mattress that it was up against it, and I knew all that stuff was not there.
So you said you could see this from the master bathroom window?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said it was a foam mattress that was up against it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What other parts of the house did you look in or try to open?
I tried to, I'd already put my shoulder into the front door, but that oak door I know was not going to move
And
because I helped install it.
So, and how, since you installed it, that helps too, how does that front door lock or unlock?
It has a regular deadbolt on it, and it's kind of reinforced a little bit.
And does it lock from the, is it
It
like,
locks from the inside and has a key access to the outside.
okay. And so, was it locked when you tried to open that front door?
Yes, ma'am, it was locked.
Okay. And so, it could have been locked from either inside or outside, is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know who all had keys to that front door?
Well, Tammy and Tara, and then there was a third key, but it had been missing.
Other than the front door, were there any other doors that you tried?
Yes, ma'am. I went around to the back door, the sheriff that followed me then, and we tried to get it open because I broke out the little window that was in that door and reached in, but the washing machine had been turned over. It was blocking the back door. It could not be budged because it was up against the dryer too.
And is that typically how that room is?
No, ma'am.
Is that door a door that can typically be opened and gone through?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It leads out to the backyard, to the little back patio area.
So after you tried that back door and it was blocked by the washer dryer, where did you go next?
I went back to the master bath and I broke out the window. And at that time, the sheriff department, they had my phone and was talking to Chris. And as soon as I broke out the window, being an old firefighter, I knew what was going on. I turned around and looked at them. I said, y'all need to meet me at the front door.
And when you say being an old firefighter and you knew what was going on, what was it that told you what was going on?
The smell that I smelled.
Okay. And is it fair to say that in your previous profession, you had smelled that smell before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what did that smell mean to you?
Somebody was dead.
Did you go inside that bathroom?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Can you tell me what you saw as soon as you got into the bathroom?
I made my way through the stuff that's not normally thrown in front of the doorway there. And since they had my phone and I didn't have a light, one of the sheriffs handed me their flashlight. And as soon as I pushed the little mattress back enough, I could look over and I seen that the safe had been opened.
And when you say the safe, what kind of safe was that?
It was like a regular, it's a regular safe, but it was big enough to hold rifles and personal items and stuff.
So a pretty large safe?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said it was open?
Yes, ma'am.
And did everything look like it was in its place or out of place?
No, ma'am, it was empty.
And after you saw the safe, what did you see next?
I turned towards where Tammy's bed and everything was, and I seen her laying there like if she was sound asleep.
And I know when we talk about how a bed normally is, we have like a headboard and a footboard, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How did Tammy typically sleep on her bed?
she slept across the bed instead of towards the headboard and the footboard, because down at the end of the footboard she had like her telephone, the lamp, the charger and stuff was all sitting there on it's like kind of like a long, you would see a long table that's behind the sofa.
So she slept with like the footboard to her left and the headboard to her right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you said you looked towards the bed, and what position was Tammy in?
She was laying on her back, like she would normally be sleeping. And I just went ahead and started making my way through, because I knew, as I looked over, I shined the light back over there, and there was a bunch of blankets that was thrown on top of her top section. And whenever I made it to the door, the bedroom door was locked. The only way that you can lock that door is from the inside. So I figured it was locked and the door was closed behind.
And so you mean it was locked from inside and then pulled shut behind somebody?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Tammy typically keep her door locked?
No, ma'am.
And you said there was a lot of sheets and blankets and things on her top half. Did she normally sleep with that many sheets and blankets?
No, ma'am.
Once you realized that door was locked, did you notice anything else in the room?
No, ma'am. At that time, I was headed for the front door, because as I was, right after I broke the window, I tried to tell the sheriff's department, you need to meet me at the front door. Because like I said, from previous, I knew something had happened. I did not even stop at Tara's room, because I was afraid that she was going to be there too.
And when you came through Tammy's door, did you see any signs of Tara or Percy?
No, ma'am.
And you said you didn't check in Tara's room because you were concerned she might be in there as well.
Yes, ma'am, and I know that I did not want to disturb anything, because, like I said, I already knew, and I wanted them to get in there to take over the scene and everything. I did not want to disturb nothing else.
And so, did you ultimately get out the front door?
Yes, ma'am. I went to the front door, I undid the deadbolt, opened it up, pushed the screen door open. I walked out. I handed the sheriff department back their flashlight, told them it was their scene, and I sat down on one of the chairs that I usually sit in on the front porch.
And after that, what did you do?
I just sat there for a while, and then they took over, and I was asked to move outside of the crime scene tape and everything. I said, that's not a problem, and I went across the street to the neighbors, and I sat over there.
And after that, did you cooperate fully with the police and allow them to do their job?
Yes, ma'am, I certainly did.
I
asked them, I said, what about Tara? And they did take and tell me that
Don't tell me what anybody else said. But you checked on Tara?
they had checked on Tara.
Okay. And did you know if Tara was still in the house?
Not until they told me.
Okay. After that, did you ever hear from Tara or Percy?
No, ma'am. I texted Tara's phone, and I don't think I never get nothing back at all.
And then ultimately after that, the police handled everything moving forward.
Yes, ma'am. They took me over, sat me down, and did a test, the test for gunpowder residue or anything on my hands, and there was none whatsoever.
And then ultimately, that was all you did? You just kind of waited there the rest of the night?
Yes, ma'am, I stayed there the rest of the night until everything was over, and then whenever they decided that they had everything, the house was turned back over to me.
Okay. I'll pass this with Sean.
Jamie?
Thank you, Judge. Sir, my name is Bill Agnew. I promise you I'm not going to be mean. I just have to ask you some questions, okay?
Certainly.
And I represent Uriah sitting here to my right. Do you know why Tara was living with Tammy in the first place?
You may answer. We've already gotten some information in about the relationship. So due to the fact that she was living there, I'm going to go ahead and allow this. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why was that?
Back then, Chris was having a little bit of problems,
Okay.
and him and his wife, I guess, they were arguing and fighting. They had split up and everything. So, I mean, the kids, there was 3 of them, and the kids went like to different relatives and was living with them.
Okay. Now, you indicated earlier that Tara came to live with her at a pretty young age, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I mean, at that point, even though Tammy's grandmother, she's really more like her mother. Would you agree with me there?
Yes, ma'am.
Because, I mean, she was the one who was responsible for raising Tara, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And, so that's kind of, I mean, we see that more today than we used to when we were younger, but grandparents having to raise their kids. But that's not very unusual today, correct?
That's correct.
And normally it's because there's something wrong in the family of one sort or another, without getting into specifics. Right?
Yes, sir. Everybody's young and everybody makes mistakes, so.
But I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody, but just that's something that's become more common in today's world, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as the relationship between Tammy and Tara, she was 17 years old at the time Tara was, correct?
Yes, sir.
And 17-year-olds, especially girls, can be somewhat difficult, right?
Yes, sir. I raised one myself.
Right. And, that's kind of a tough age for anyone to have to deal with a teenager, boy or girl. I mean, when they're that age, they're wanting to be grown up, but they're not grown up.
Yes, sir.
And they're trying to test their limits. Would you agree with me there?
Yes, sir.
And my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that Tammy was pretty stern or strict with Tara about what things she would allow her to do.
On certain items, yes, I would say, but I also, there was things that she was lenient on, too.
Okay. What were the things that she was strict about?
Mainly going to school and that's pretty well, mainly going to school and making sure that you left on time and all that, because like I said earlier, they had a curfew. And every once in a while I would take it, and say, oh, come on, they're young, and give them another hour,
Now, what did you know about Uriah when you met him?
I did not know nothing about Uriah. Whenever I first met him, I thought he was a great kid, and I still think he's, a young, great man, young man.
Did you ever find out a little bit more about his background or not?
Not really that much. I knew that there was a little bit of problems there at his house too, so.
Were you aware that he was homeless at the time that this occurred?
At this time, yes, I did know.
Okay. So when he had his curfew, do you have any idea where he was going to be going at that point?
No, sir, I didn't.
Did you see him leave?
Yes, sir, I seen him leave several times.
Okay. Do you know if he would come back later, or do you just not know?
I do not know that.
Okay. How much time did you spend over at Tammy's house?
I've spent quite a bit. I'm retired.
Did you ever stay the night there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, did you do that a lot, or a little, or just sometimes?
At first, it was just a little bit, and then after we got romantic and everything, yes, I stayed there quite a bit.
When you get to stay there, you got to see more of the dynamics between Tammy and Tara. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did kind of as things went on, did things become contentious between them?
No, not a, nothing that I could really tell. It was like normal.
They didn't argue or have disagreements?
Just mainly on, like clothes or going to school. Sometimes, I never heard it, but I don't know if I can say it. Tara wanted, I don't know if I can say this, Tara wanted him like to stay or like have a room there, and Tammy was not going to have that.
As far as, the dynamics between them, I mean, if Tammy had a rule, like not having him live there, was she firm about that?
Well, yes, sir.
Okay. And she did not want Uriah to live there, correct?
They were still too young,
But she didn't want him living there. That's correct. Right?
That's correct.
Okay. And that's understandable. I'm not trying to badmouth her. I don't mean it like that. But that was something that made Tammy upset, right? Not Tammy, Tara. Sorry, Tara.
Well, yes, I would say it probably made Tara upset, yes.
Because Tara was 17 and thought she was in love, so she wanted to spend time with Uriah, correct?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's normal
Right.
for a 17.
That's normal for a 17-year-old, yes.
So she would get angry at Tammy for not letting him stay there. Is that correct?
I imagine so.
Did you ever see that?
No, sir. I never really did see them argue or fight. Just little things. Like are you clothes done, rooms cleaned up.
Okay. Well, now, as far as Uriah goes, were there any problems between Uriah and Tammy?
At one time, he raised his voice once, and I said, "That's not going to happen again. That's not going to happen." And we had talked, and so.
Was there ever a problem with that again?
No, sir. Not that I know of.
Would it surprise you if Tammy had told people that she felt like her grandmother abused her?
Yeah.
So you never saw any signs that indicate that she abused her?
No, sir.
Okay.
If anything, she was giving her and trying to have her get everything that she wanted,
Now, we talked about the safe being open. Was it a safe that you had to have a key to open, or was it a safe that you had a combination to open?
A combination for sure.
Okay. Do you have any idea whether Tammy had ever shared that combination with either Tara or Uriah?
No, sir, I don't.
You don't know?
I don't know.
So they might have had it, they might not have. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, as far as the guns go, her first husband was a gun dealer, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so he had a lot of,
Her only husband, yes.
but he had a lot of guns.
Yes.
He did. And how restrictive was Tara with either, or Tammy, how restrictive was Tammy? I'm struggling with these. How strict was Tammy with Tara and Uriah about using the guns?
As far as I know, they wasn't supposed to be touching them at all.
Okay. Do you have any idea whether he was ever allowed to go use them to go hunting?
No, sir, not that I know
Okay. Was that something you think you would have done?
of. No, I don't believe so. I don't believe she would have let anybody take one.
What I'm asking is if he had taken them hunting, is that something that you think you would have known? Would you have known that he was able to do that? If he was allowed to?
I imagine if he was allowed to, yeah, I imagine I would probably know about it too.
Okay. And you You're saying you have no knowledge of that of any kind?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, was Tara allowed to use the gun?
No, sir, not that I know of.
Okay. Now, as far as between Tammy and Tara goes, how generous do you feel that Tammy was towards Tara?
Pretty generous.
Give her a lot of stuff?
Yes, sir.
And buy her stuff, clothes, things like that?
Yes, sir.
You treated her like her daughter, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you said there really weren't ever any problems between Tammy and Uriah?
Not that I know of. Just the one time, he was a little upset and the voice got raised, and I said that will not happen no more.
Did you know a person named Travis Hodges?
No, sir, I don't recognize that name.
You never met him?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Now, in talking about Tammy, did Tammy have a prescription for hydrocodone or painkillers?
I'm not sure on that one, sir. I did not know all the medications.
Do you know if she took painkillers?
I think so. Matter of fact, I think she did have one for, I'm trying to remember what it was for. She had surgery a long time ago. I could not answer that, to be honest, sir.
Okay. But if she took them, do you have any idea whether they were prescribed or she got them from another source?
They would have to be prescribed
Why?
because she didn't do that, nothing like that, sir.
Okay. Did you ever have any knowledge of her ever using methamphetamine?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay. But she did smoke pot
Yes, sir.
and she drank too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, had you ever seen her in a situation where she was around either Tara or Uriah and she was impaired?
No, sir.
Never? Okay.
No, sir.
Did you ever see her taking painkillers to the point that you felt like she was impaired and shouldn't drive?
No.
Okay. And when you indicated that your first impression of Uriah was that he was a good kid, and then, kind of as you got to know him, you still felt like he was a good kid. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're really familiar with what his background was like prior to coming over there?
No, sir. I did not know him.
Did you ever have any dealings with anyone in his family or anyone like that?
No, sir.
No?
I think he did introduce me to his mom once, and I said hello.
Okay. Was she over there?
No, sir. It was at McDonald's.
Did you jump up into her there?
No, sir.
How-
Up at the McDonald's, they was coming to pick up Tara.
Okay. So his mother was with him to pick up Tara?
Yes.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
I would say back in the first of the year.
Okay. Now, as far as Tara goes, I mean, how often would she leave the house?
They would take him. Uriah was over there, and they wanted to go walking. She would come and tell Tammy, "Hey, we're going for a walk," and they would go out and go for a walk. And most of the time, she was there at the house if they wasn't out together walking.
Okay. Did she go out to, like, let's say, go see movies, go to the mall? Did she do things like that or not?
No, I don't really think that she went out that much.
Would you consider her like a homebody?
Yeah, she was, I guess, kind of like Tammy, you know, being a homebody.
Now, as far as Tara goes, she was 17 years old. Did she have a driver's license?
No, sir, not yet. She did not know how to drive.
That's what I was going to ask. So she had no knowledge of how to drive.
No, sir. That was going to be my next thing. I was going to teach her.
Okay.
We'd already discussed it.
Do you know why Tammy didn't teach her how to drive?
No, I think Tara was a little bit nervous, you know, being never behind the wheel or nothing. So me and Tammy had talked before about taking her like out to the parking lot and I would start teaching her.
Do you know if Uriah could drive?
No, I really don't. I imagine he could. At one time he had a Camaro.
Okay.
So it wasn't running, but he had one.
Okay. Now, did Tara ever have any form of a job while you knew her?
No, sir.
Okay. And was her attendance at school always not good, or was there a time she was better at it?
No, it used to be really good.
And when did it get bad?
And I would say probably really about a month before all this happened.
Do you know if she was ready to be done with school?
I think I heard something before, or it's just here. I can't really say it, but I think she wanted to be homeschooled.
Okay. Now, with
She only
Tara,
had a year, 1 year left.
okay. Now, did Tara work, or did Tammy work, or no?
No.
What did she do when she worked?
She was pretty well the mom, the housewife, the stay-at-home mom.
Okay. And after her husband died, how did she support herself financially?
She was like receiving his check.
Social Security?
Yes.
Okay. And did she have a lot of money, or did she not have a lot of money?
Supposedly Butch had put, JC, her husband, had been saving money and it was saved up.
Okay. Was it like a savings account, or did he have it in the safe?
I imagine there was some of both,
Okay.
because he did tell me once before that he had money at the house.
Okay. And do you know, would Tammy, would she share that money with Tara, or do you know?
I do not know, sir.
I mean,
I know that, you know, if Tara wanted something, then Tammy would always try to figure out a way to make sure that she had it.
and I mean, and if Tara's not working, if she's going to get any money, it's going to have to be from Tammy, right?
Yes, sir.
At 17.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think that Tammy supported Tara well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did she try to give her everything she could?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
No further questions, Ms.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Sir, you may step down. Call your next witness.
The state will call